Hi guys, it's me again. I know it's been quite a while, but I'm back. So, the reason why I feel like sometimes I have been inconsistent with my posting, I actually realized after doing some research into the female nervous system and also pleasure, I realized that my inconsistency, my inability to show up for myself, to commit to my projects and to my desires, to be seen is not actually a part of my personality or my upbringing. It's actually to do with my dysregulated nervous system. And I know that I'm not alone in this. I know that many women experience this because we all are dysregulated to a certain extent. And that is because of the environments that we have been, I was going to say nourished in, but I guess a lack thereof of nourishment. Um, we haven't been nourished properly. The things that our nervous system needs to be able to function at a healthy level, to be able to live up to our fullest expression, has been hindered by things like the patriarchy, things like media and biology, which has been so clouded with male bias, especially in the West. There's very little research on the female nervous system and on the power of sensuality and pleasure in regulating our nervous systems. So, this video is about sensuality, but I think it will overlap into the female nervous system because I have been watching a lot of videos online. There is one YouTube creator that I am obsessed with at the moment. Her name is Veronica, and she is a doctoral candidate, and she has started this discourse on talking about the bias in Western science, about the real truth of the female nervous system and how pleasure is actually how we can regulate the nervous system. And it's interesting, and it's a sign of synchronicity that I have come across her content because I have been on a journey of coming back to myself, of embodiment, of creativity, of sensuality, of understanding the more feminine aspect of life. Because before, when I had my spiritual awakening, I was very mind focused. I was focused on the mental plane, on perception, on affirmations and visualizations and sitting meditations and doing, when in reality I didn't have to do any more. I just had to be aware of what already is. I had to give way to my natural creativity, to my intuition, to this presence inside me that already knows what steps I need to take and how I can benefit the collective. But I wasn't able to access that because my nervous system felt so dysregulated, and I had this fear of being seen, and I felt so numb and disconnected from my body because I thought it was all about the mental plane. If I say the affirmations enough times, then I'll get what I want eventually. And it's not to say that it never worked, because I have manifested a lot of things whilst using the mental plane, whilst using things like affirmations and visualizations. But now I understand the power of embodiment, the power of sensuality, the power of experiencing the divine from within you. I'm so sorry. I have a cold, not a cold sore. I have an ulcer on my tongue because I've been having too much masala in my cha every morning, as my mom would like to remind me. Um, I don't know, I'm convinced. I don't think I was going to get an ulcer, but I think that because it kept saying that I would, now it's kind of come into my awareness. So maybe I shouldn't blame her, but it's okay. I love tea and I like masala, so I will just deal with it. Anyway, I digress. So, sensuality, how did this start for me? So, sensuality is your sensitivity to sensations. It is your sensitivity to life. It is your sensitivity to your senses, to your touch, taste, smell, sight, and sound. Got all of 5 of them there, which is good. So, essentially, it is how you experience the world, because For example, somebody could listen to music and all they hear is sound, but for another person who is sensual, will feel that in their soul. Somebody may look at the clouds or outside and see weather, but for somebody who is sensual, they will see beauty in the clouds. They will see God. They will see divinity. They will see more than what the average person might see. And this sensuality is what people may call presence. It is what people may call being in the present moment, like Eckhart Tolle in The Power of Now. It's the sensory aliveness. How alive are your senses? How aware are you of the sensations that you feel? Do you savor the food that you eat? Do you savor the sounds that you hear? Do you pay attention to the way that things feel, that your body feels? Are you aware of the subtle energies around you? And if you had asked me these questions, I would have been like, what are you on about? Like years ago, because I was not. I was very numb. I was very disassociated. I was very trying to escape the body. I was always very mind focused. I was, if my mind would convince me that I am okay, but then my body would just break down and was like, no, we're not okay. And I never realized that there's such a deep indwelling intelligence in the body that is where divinity can be felt. Of course, my entire life when I was following mainstream religion, different ones, I've dabbled in Christianity, went to a Christian primary school, and, looked into Islam and a little bit of Buddhism and Hinduism. I'm aware of them. I'm aware of the ideas that they present, and even though they may differ on paper, at the heart of them they all speak to the same truth, which is that there is only one, and that one is the one that is you. And the one inside of you, the divinity, consciousness, God, source, whatever you want to call it, wants to touch itself through you, wants to experience the world through you, through your senses. That is why you are in the 3D, for the pleasures of the flesh, to be able to enjoy things through the body. And of course, religion tends to say you need to transcend the body, you need to go to heaven and hell. Well, you need to go to heaven, you need to focus on that and just disregard any desires that the flesh may have. Don't think about pleasure, don't think about music and dancing and expressing yourself and sexuality. These things are sinful. But I've come to realize now that these are all doorways to the divine, and this is why I've been drawn to spiritual systems such as Tantra, which means to weave, which means essentially, how I perceive it is, everything is a doorway to the divine. It's not you just have to meditate and pray. Me doing something like drinking a cup of tea or feeling the rain on my face or feeling the velvetness of flower petals or going for a walk or just being with my cat. These are all things that can help you experience God, because God is not something that is outside of you. God is something that is internal. And there's a distinction to be made here, and this does relate to sensuality, I promise. I know that it sounds like kind of we're veering off, but it's because all of these things come together so beautifully. So there are two different types of God. There is the transcendental God and then the immanent God. The transcendental God is the one that is above, that is outside, that is external to you. It is the one that we pray to, that we look up to, the one that feels like sits in the clouds as a white man judging us, a bit like Santa, but a bit more evil, because at least Santa just doesn't give you presents. This one sends you to hell, apparently, if you don't conform, even though he gave you free will. Oops, lost my flow. My brother came in. But okay, so the immanent God is the one that you experience within you. It is the understanding that the divine is permeating between in all things. It is present in all things. It is inseparable. It is actually omnipresent, not just in theory, but actually in practice. Because religions talk about God being omnipresent, but they're like, oh yeah, God's everywhere except for in you. Because if you call yourself God, then that's blasphemy. Even though true blasphemy is actually suggesting that you are separate from the divine. Most of human suffering, as Eckhart Tolle states in his book The Power of Now, is because of resistance. It is not because of the things that happen to us. It is because we are resisting them. It is because we are going against the natural flow of life. And there's a nursery rhyme that I really like, that I feel like encapsulates this. It's, the one that goes, row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, merrily, life is but a dream. And that is so profound, because that is what we're meant to do. We are meant to flow, because we are energetic beings having this 3D human experience, which is all an illusion anyway. It is all a hologram. It is all coming from consciousness, which is you, your true nature. Now, consciousness wants to experience itself. That's why it is here. It did not come here to worry and talk about him and worry about this and be in the mind and be so ego focused and just be overthinking, over analyzing, hyper vigilant. It did not come here to be in survival mode. It came here to thrive. Its natural state of being is orgasmic pleasure. And that's not in the sexual sense. It's in the sense of having an intimacy with life, an intimacy with yourself, because you are the world touching itself through you. The world touches itself through you. When you have this increased sensitivity to life, you are able to create more. You have more material to access within you, to be able to create poetry, to create art, to create opportunities, to create ideas, to create dreams and goals and dances and drawings and paintings and plays. You have access to the infinite intelligence that is around you, because you're not so full up of worries. In this world that greatly rewards masculine traits of doing and consistency and efficiency and competition and discipline and constant action, it is not nourishing enough, as if you had feminine qualities of receptivity, of sensuality, of presence, of intuition, of inner knowing, of being fluid, of flowing with the flow of life. Now, sensuality asks you questions like, can you enjoy this meal without having to post pictures of it, without having to rush it? Can you enjoy listening to music without just focusing on the sounds? Can you actually feel what is being said? Can you look at a piece of art and feel the emotion that the artist was trying to evoke in you, rather than just seeing colors? Can you feel the tea, the hotness of tea going down your throat and into your body? Can you feel and savor the taste of that? It asks those questions rather than what can you do. It focuses on what can you be. Now, there is a practice that I would like to recommend that I feel like would be really good for you guys to get started if you want to be more sensual and more sensitive to life. It is something that you build up over time, especially if you have been disconnected from it. And the more sensual you are, the more sensitive you are, the more pleasure you feel, right? So there are different ways you can experience this. So it is really using your five senses. So what I like to do is, for touch, I like to just slowly stroke my arms, just feel how it feels to have that touch. Things like rubbing oil on your body. It's not in a sexual way, in a very sensual, intimate way with yourself. Rubbing oil on your body, just feeling the smoothness of your skin, feeling textures, like feeling this lace. I like to feel my hair, the way it feels, the texture of it, or maybe fuzz, or like leather, linen. There are different things, different textures, different scents, different sounds, different sights. When you go for a walk, don't just be on your phone or listen to a podcast. Really be present. What can you hear? What are the birds saying? How do the trees feel? How does it feel to feel the grass underneath your feet? How does the sun feel on your face, on your eyelids? For me, when I feel the sun, I feel like I'm being wrapped up in a cocoon of red warmness, like red gooey love. That's what it feels like. How does it taste? How does the rain taste? Like, how do foods taste? How does life taste? There was actually somebody very in a group chat that I'm in that is a spiritual community, and he said something so iconic. He said that life tastes so good that I can taste it in my spit. And at that moment I was like, he gets it. He gets it. Like, you do not have to feel divinity and feel good just by going to a church and reading scriptures. Like, you can do that. I'm not stopping anyone. But like, to feel God, just even in something like your spit, to feel God and divinity in something like drinking your tea or bathing or, you know, rubbing oil on yourself, like massaging your head, or feeling the sun in your face. That's sensuality, that's sensitivity to life. So as you go about your day, name 5 things that you can hear, name 4 things that you can feel, touch, name 3 things that you can taste in food. 1, as many as you like. Do this. Get into the habit of whatever you're doing. When you're tapping away and you're working, what does it feel like to tap? What does it sound like? Because I used to pretend to have a laptop when I was a child, and I would just love to just pretend to type, and it would just feel so good and pleasurable. Like, I would just get so much fun out pretending that I had a computer, a laptop, and now I have one and I don't enjoy it. This is why people watch ASMR, by the way. It is because we ignore the daily mundane moments, ordinary moments, but then we watch them online and watch somebody else do it, watch somebody else whisper, or the sound of rain, or brushing, or anything like that. Something ordinary, right? And then it actually calms us. Research has shown that ASMR actually calms us. It makes us more present, more calm. And you can do that anyway, just in general life, without having to watch anything. Just becoming sensitive to the things around you. So go and try it. Go and practice it now. Like, if you're reading a book, why don't you smell it? Why don't you feel the way the paper, the texture of the paper? I love the smell of old books, like, obsessed. Okay, thank you so much for watching this. If you have enjoyed it, please leave a comment. And if sensuality is something that you are interested in or intrigued by, or you have experiences of delving into, please share, because I would love to hear your experiences. I love sharing, and I love hearing other people share their experiences. And if you would like to hear a part 2, because there is so much more I could say on this, comment for part 2. And of course, send this to somebody that you feel like may benefit from it. It's all about spreading that good karma and helping others, because essentially we're helping ourselves. And just go out there and just breathe. Breathe into the sensations. Resist nothing. Allow it all to exist. This is why you're here. It is safe. You just have to build your capacity for it. Thank you so much for watching. I love you, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. The immanent God is the one that is within you. It is within everything, and within practice, not just an idea, which is essentially a paradox, because how can God be in everything but not be me and you and this and that? Do you get what I mean? Okay, so why is this important? It's important because when I realized that God is both transcendental and immanent, I realized that God is within me. I'm not separate from God, which means that anything that I experience within my body, that my body is a temple of God, and that I can experience divinity and God and have a relationship. But it's not really a relationship with God, because I can't have a relationship with myself because there's only me, right? So an intimacy with God, if you will. I was able to feel that so much more through sensuality. So sensuality isn't about seduction, it's not about performance, it's not about aesthetics. It's about the awareness that you have, the intimacy that you have with life. Think about it. When you are sensitive to the way things smell and touch and feel and sound and taste, you are intimate with life. You are engaging with life. You are more open to sensory experiences, to intuition, to guidance, because you receive things like creativity, something that creativity is essentially something that flows through you from God. And to be able to be aware of that, to be able to listen to those creative nudges, you need to be present. You need to be central. You need to be aware. You need to be sensitive. You need to be an open vessel through which guidance from God can flow through. And how can you have that if you are so full up? If you're so full up of thoughts and worries and belief systems and limitations, and how can you make space for something divine to flow through you? And you can allow things to flow through you when you are being present, and when you're present, you're aware in this moment. Now I'm in this moment. What can I be aware of? I can be aware of the way my skin feels, the sound of my voice, the way my hair feels when it touches my skin, the I don't know, the sight of this camera, of my phone, of my light, of my room, of all these things. And when we are being present, when we are being here right now, aware of our senses, aware of the things that we are feeling, aware of the emotions arising, aware of the energy flowing through us, then we can do so much. We are actually living life. We are more magnetic. We are an open vessel for God, for divinity, for the flow of goodness to flow through. We are magnets for abundance, for miracles, because you're just being present, right? Think about it. If you had your dream life, how would you feel? You would feel relaxed. You would feel calm. You would feel trust. You would feel so relaxed to the point where you don't have to worry about how you're going to pay your bills, or how you're going to do this or that project you have to finish. You'll just be enjoying it no matter where you are. If you're sitting on a private jet flying somewhere, if you're sitting in your sports car, you'll be enjoying the feel of it. If you're on the beach, you'll enjoy the feeling of the sun on your face, of the pina colada that you're sipping, of the water, of the breeze, of the smell of the rain, of nature. You'll be aware of these things because you're not constantly in survival mode. You're not dysregulated. You're not worrying about this and that and this and do more and be more and can't be still. You're just present. And it was essentially my heartbreak, you know. Things happen in life that accelerate us towards our purpose. Some of the worst things that happen to us are the best things that happen to us. And it's funny because I claimed this when I had my heartbreak. I claimed that this would be my breakthrough, and I never realized how much of a breakthrough it would be, because it truly opened up a whole new world to me. It was the first time when I was healing from my breakup that I actually allowed myself to sit with my feelings, to sit with the pain, to sit with the heaviness that I felt in my chest, to feel my heart breaking. Like, it felt physically like it was literally in two, like it had split open. But I remembered my favorite Sufi poet Rumi, and how he said the wound is where the light enters you. And I said, yes, he's right. I'm not gonna let this moment of my heart breaking be something that makes me close my heart off to love, to emotions, to feelings, to sensations, to life. I was determined to not let it block me. I was determined to let it break my heart open so I can feel more, I can love more, I can be aware of more, I can receive more, I can give more. And that is exactly what happened. I felt the pain, I cried, I was upset, I longed, I yearned, I turned it into art, I turned it into writing, into poetry. I found the power of dance, of movement, of how the energy in my body can be moved, how these emotions just want to be felt, and how they can be released in a healthy way that didn't mean that I had to collapse, that I could feel heartbreak and feel sadness and grief without collapsing and feeling like I'm just never going to return to this, that I could express my anger and my rage without feeling like I was going to explode. I could do it in a healthy way that didn't resist what was happening, that honored it, that allowed it, that permitted it, that transmuted it. And some of the greatest art that has been created in the world has been created because people are sensual. Artists are sensual. They allow life in. They experience it from inside it. They don't experience it from an outsider. When you're walking to work and you're consuming and listening to podcast after podcast and reading book after book and trying to consume and be it and do more and try harder, you aren't really inside life. You're just inside your mind, inside this cell that you have created that you hold the key to. And to experience a rich life, to have that smile and that inner bliss and that peace that people like Buddha have. You know, where there's a statue of him and I just see him and he's just smiling. And for the longest time, I thought, why? What is he so happy about? And now I realize it, that you shouldn't resist anything, that anything like bad things, hard things, grief, pain, sadness, jealousy, all of these things that we push into our shadow, into rejecting it, suppressing it, and denying it, that these are the things that can be the doorway to the divine, that can be doorway to our deeper levels of understanding, that can be the doorway to sensuality, that can be the doorway to learning greater wisdom and embodying it. You know, I could have easily just had a heartbreak and just been sad and said, I'm never gonna love again and I'm never gonna open my heart, I'm just gonna be even more numb. But I didn't. I sat there, I felt the pain, I honored it, I expressed it through dance, through writing, through crying, through shaking, through singing, through screaming, through whatever it takes to get it out. I expelled it from my system. I released it back into the ether, back into nothingness, back into into the field of potentiality, right? That's what it's here for. Pain isn't something that is your enemy. Your ego is not your enemy. It's a calling, it's an initiation to feel more, to allow more, to experience more, because you did not come into this lifetime to think that, oh, I'm just going to feel these nice emotions and I'm not going to feel this. I'm just going to be in survival mode and be go, 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 and be on the next step and the next goal and the next milestone and not really enjoy the journey. Because, my darling, I heard somewhere that the journey is the destination. You know, I'm so glad that it took me making all the mistakes I ever made, making all the bad decisions that I ever made, and having my heart broken and grief and pain and all of that. I'm so glad I would do it again in a heartbeat, because I had to experience that. That was my calling. That is why I'm here now. That is why I'm who I am now. That is why I'm here expressing and sharing my truth now, because I allowed myself to experience it and I came out of the other side and I realized that I didn't die. I didn't collapse. I didn't just fall apart. I felt my pain and I'm still here. And if anything, it made me stronger. It made me feel untouchable, because I realized that, yo, I can feel anything. I can experience anything and still enjoy life and still be present and still feel the sensations and still be in my body and to let it flow through me. So sensuality is really the gift of presence. It's being here right now, and right now is all we really ever have.